It's a Friday, and we're talking football non-stop. All football, all the time. This is another edition of Football Friday with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Happy Friday, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. You know, I'm a big fan of that David Randolph James.
Same.
That we get a chance to see each and every day. Thanks for listening, however you may be listening. Streaming, over the air, on the KSL Sports app, on YouTube, or KSLSports.com.
In the future.
Or in the future to our wonderful podcast listeners who might be like jamming out a Jake and Ben episode while they're raking leaves this weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot going on this weekend. Look, listen whenever you want to listen. I'm glad everyone listens on the podcast. It feels like the Friday show, and I'm not trying to undercut us. And if you're listening to a podcast on Saturday or Sunday, keep listening. We appreciate it. Friday feels like the worst show to listen to late. Because, the Jazz play tonight.
We're previewing the weekend.
Saturday, the game is going. There's a BYU game at 1:30. There's a hockey game at 4.
Dude, Ben, our Saturday podcast listeners just hit pause. What are you doing?
Yeah, they probably like, okay.
What are you doing?
Fine.
You know what? There's we're going to have an evergreen. We're going to have 2 evergreen segments today for our podcast listeners to stick around. Maybe even more, but at least 2. Because I've got to get into what Jeff Teague said yesterday. Okay. So that's coming up.
And we have to finish our NBA picks.
Because that's right up my alley. And then, we're going to finish our NBA picks in the 11 o'clock hour.
Which we've cheated because now we've seen a lot of basketball.
We cheated a little bit.
I can pull the Clippers out of my championship prediction.
But,
they don't have it.
We've seen 2 games. Yeah, I mean, the Clippers looks
rough.
But if you're making a conclusion after a game or 2.
No, that would be silly. Again, the Jazz beat the Denver Nuggets. And the Jazz ended up with the 10th pick or 9th pick in the lottery, and the Nuggets won the title to open the season. So
that's not how that season went, you're saying?
Correct. That was not indicative of what the next 81 games were going to look like.
Did not tell the future of either team in that circumstance. Okay. All right. I got it. Christian, how are you? What's going on over there?
Going swell.
Everything went well yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Christian had a thing yesterday.
Yeah. We've talked about it on the air, right? Or are we not talking about it on the air yet?
I mean, we can.
You and your wife are pregnant.
Well, just my wife, but yeah.
But yeah, the family is adding a child.
First one.
So, huge congratulations. When is the date?
April 3rd. So
April 3rd.
Right around Easter.
Okay. And you guys had a heartbeat appointment yesterday?
Yeah, 17-week appointment. Got to hear the heartbeat. Still there, so that's good.
Good.
This is how I think about things. First of all, we're very happy for Christian's family. But as soon as
use some extra bodies in here,
as soon as he said the due date, though, I thought, oh no, spring birthday parties, because I've got a spring baby too, right? Spring birthday parties are rough, because can you go outside to a park? Like, do you get a bounce house, or is it going to snow that day? It's a real challenge you're going to have to grapple with.
We have had snow in early April before. Like, that's not even an exaggeration.
Don't be tempted to do an outside one. That would be my advice. Stay inside with the birthday parties. There's plenty of trampoline parks. We did Maggie's at the Salt Lake Gymnastics Center, which is underrated because they got a bunch of like foam pits and stuff. But that's the first thing I think of is like, oh, spring birthdays are rough. My other daughter's in July, which you just go inside anyway. Because we tried to do it outside a couple of years. Yeah. Not a good idea. All right.
Too hot.
Congrats.
Thank you, Christian. Yeah, too hot.
It's warm out here in July, huh?
All children should be born in the fall.
LA Times.
Yeah, LA Times. Thanks a lot, Ben. All right, we're going to talk to Steve Bartle at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. That is the other thing that we will be doing. Ben, PK, what?
Who are you more confident is going to win this game this weekend?
Well, I was going to say the three local teams, what record do you think they have? Like, do you think all three teams go 3-0? Is that the most likely scenario?
No, I don't. And I don't know who it is. I don't know. Utah, if they end up with the backup quarterback, is dangerous. Colorado's had a bye week. BYU or Utah's coming off of a loss to BYU. That should sharpen Utah, I would think. But again, you just don't know fully what to expect from Bird Ficklin if he plays. And I've liked him. Again, the 9 passes he's thrown, I think, are better than maybe the 9 throws we've seen cumulatively from Devin Dampier. But that doesn't mean anything. And also, he's, one of the reasons he's not playing is I think he's 6'1" and 165 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know about the take that a backup quarterback makes Utah more dangerous.
No, I think he might be a better passer, but I don't think that necessarily means he's better at running the offense.
Well, I have no idea if he's a better passer. I guess we'll find that out if he plays. If he plays. I kind of think, and I know the Cyclones, the Magic Vegas predicting wizard has them 2.5-point favorites, but I actually think 3-0 is likely, even though 2 teams are on the road because Utah State is at New Mexico as well. I think Bronco's gonna. I don't think Bronco. No, not revenge. I just don't think he wants them to have revenge on him.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, what is he getting revenge on? They didn't fire him.
Yeah, he's the one who left.
You're right,
but I don't think he wants them storming the field because they just upset their former coach.
They're above 500, so they're, it's a dangerous team, and road games are really hard. That's just, I guess, the aspect is, the truth is you play 2 good teams on the road, the odds of 2 teams winning on the road against, I guess, maybe slightly above average for their conference. I think Iowa State's well above average for the conference, even though I know they've stumbled in recent weeks. I suspect they'll be a little bit healthier this weekend against BYU, and got to recognize now, BYU's got a huge target on its back. BYU is the top dog in the Big 12, and everyone's going to come and bring their best game for them now. And that may have not been the case for the first few weeks. You think, freshman quarterback, some close games, and Bear hasn't played particularly well on the road. So I think that's a really difficult game. And then, again, mixing in the wild card of a true freshman quarterback at Utah, potentially making his first start, even though it's at home, 8:15. It's going to be really cold. You make those mistakes. Yeah, the Colorado defense is pretty good. They disguise a few things. It's just one too many coin flips for me to feel confident everyone goes 3-0.
I'm pretty shocked that the Utes are the Wizard has the Utes as 13.5-point favorites. That seems. I mean, I think the Utes are going to be Colorado too, but that's kind of big.
It's a lot. Yeah, you better be really confident that Utah's just going to be able to run the ball, and Utah should be able to run the ball. I do think one of the things that I am excited to see carrying over from BYU is if Daniel Bray is a real guy.
Well, and Colorado sucks at stopping the run, so
if that's
probably
the case, and look, Wayshawn's
nice.
good, and Akiri Rogers though apparently didn't want to play against BYU. I think he did, but Utah didn't want to play him against BYU. What do you have? 1 carry, 2 carries?
Well, Utah,
I think Utah's going to be able to move the ball on the ground.
We've seen a repeated thing with running backs at Utah. It's not a surprise that if you don't take the job when you're given an opportunity, somebody else will have an opportunity to take to the job. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Daryl Poston and Ray Stowers started in front of Darrell Mack in 2007. They were given the opportunity to take the job. You remember Poston was a transfer from USC. He was one of those high-profile dudes that they were super excited about. And then he wasn't necessarily bad, although I do think he lost at least one game for him with a fumble. But those guys weren't particularly bad. They just didn't go grab the job. Does that make any sense? It wasn't like, oh, hello. And then Mac came along and never gave the job back. And then he and Asiata together were obviously the 1-2 punch in 08 that made him so effective. But we've seen that over and over again. That's how Zach Moss got the job. I'm trying to remember the 2 guys that were in front of him that did not grab the job.
Bubba Poole? When was Bubba Poole? It might have been before.
No, that was Devontae Booker.
Okay.
That's how, but he got the job the same way. The same thing. There were a couple of guys who were given opportunities and they didn't grab the job, and so somebody else came along. Because he's going to keep giving opportunities to running backs until they say, no, I'm the one getting 20 carries.
And Bray isn't running between the tackles.
He's not. He's a different type of player.
He's a speed back. He's just trying to get to the outside and beat you around the corner. And he showed, even against a very good BYU defense, he has the ability to do that and can be a game breaker that way. So,
but honestly, where's the strength of Utah's offensive line?
Between the tackles.
No, the tackles.
The tackles.
So running towards the tackles actually makes a lot of sense.
Bad,
It made a lot of sense against BYU, which is a point we made on Monday, is that was an effective game plan. Then why'd they go away from it when they got into the red zone is pretty baffling.
So I will be curious how they handle that. But and look, just because I don't care who wins and loses, win and loss record doesn't matter much to me, other than it may, put a team into a title game or may put a team into a bowl game, and both BYU and obviously Utah are going to, Utah, I guess I should say, obviously BYU are going to coast to a bowl game. BYU's already there. I don't mind seeing young players. I don't mind seeing something new and seeing if Daniel Bray can be a guy that Utah feels they can start to build around going forward. If you can even feel confident in that at all with the transfer portal.
And as far as the Cougs go,
which is the much bigger game.
Is the Bear going to throw it away, and how beat up are they after the Ute game? Because last year they were beat up after the Ute game, and they dropped 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. And Kansas turned out to be pretty good, and obviously Arizona State won the league, so I don't think either loss is necessarily a bad one. But I think they dropped that Kansas game at home because they were deflated a little bit and beat up a little bit. So to go on the road at Iowa State after the rivalry game is kind of a question mark, but...
Have we seen that effect this year? That was something Utah did a lot last year. If you played Utah the next week, you lost. That was just kind of a common theme. Arizona State beat Texas Tech after losing to Utah, after getting trounced by Utah. Mm-hmm. They went that next week. I wonder if there's maybe not that physical hangover that Utah's used to imparting on their opponents. So, no, BYU is better than Iowa State. There's no question about that. But Iowa
without
State's
their
good,
corners.
And it's going to be a low-scoring game. And I think that's where BYU has a definitive edge, is that I just really don't think Iowa State can get to 28 points.
No, I wouldn't bet on that either. But Iowa State's current problem has actually been slowing teams down. So with their injuries, they've been giving up points. Like, what was the final against Colorado?
24-17, right?
So that what was the game before that?
38-30. They gave up 38 points to Cincinnati.
Their total defense, Ben, on the season is 48, which isn't great.
That's really because of what happened against Cincinnati? Because that's a weird number to me, because you look at how they start the year. Is that points allowed or that's total yards?
That's total defense.
Okay. Because they started the season allowing 21 points to Kansas State. Again, that was in Ireland. It was weird. 7 points to South Dakota, 13 points to Iowa, 16 points to Arkansas State, 14 points to Arizona. Those are all good. They only gave up 21 points once. They only allowed one team to break 20. You're going to win those games usually. And then since then, they've given up 38 and 24, and that's hurt them. But I don't know. I don't expect BYU to get to the 30s in this game. The problem is I don't know if Iowa State can get to the 20s.
Iowa State, to your point, 27th in the country in scoring defense. But some of that might be a little bit taped together. I mentioned the 48th in total defense, 48th in passing defense, Ben, and then 65th in rushing defense. So they're giving up 141 and a half yards per game rushing.
Well, LJ's going to eat and Bear's going to eat.
That's going to be the formula, yeah.
Yep.
And can Iowa State stand up to it? I'm not so sure this is our traditional what we know of from an Iowa State defense.
Yeah, probably not. And that's why they've lost back-to-back games. Now, again, they've got a bye week. They can probably get a little bit healthier. That's certainly going to be the hope for them. But
neither of those corners are coming back. So, because if the Bear is going to screw it up, those corners would have made a big difference.
And if I were to look at any other matchup and take the BYU label off of it and take the Iowa State label off of it and look at a 5-2 team taking on the number 11 team in the country, I would favor the number 11 team in the country to go on the road and win. And if BYU is the 11th best team in the country, they should be able to go win this game, especially against a beat-up Iowa State team playing at arguably their worst. So this is a good spot. BYU has a chance to win this game. And honestly, I'm not going to say it's a must-win.
Of course.
But BYU needs to win this game if they want to win the Big 12.
But I am going to call it a must-win.
Because when you still have to go at Texas Tech and at Cincinnati, you can't lose a game to Iowa State. Like, these are the types of games you can't afford to lose if you want to control your destiny to get to the Big 12 title game.
Here's where you're wrong.
Because once you lose it, you don't control it anymore.
Mathematically speaking, yes, they can lose this game.
They can, of course they can. I didn't say it's a must-win. I didn't say it's a must-win.
You said, I don't want to say it's a must-win, but it's a must-win.
I didn't say that.
No, you said, but they can't.
Rewind the tape.
But they can't lose if they want to win the Big 12.
I think that's still true.
But the answer is, no, it's not true. Specifically not true. They absolutely can still win the league if they lose this game.
Iowa State can still win the Big 12 too, Jake. Yep. But that's not going to happen because they've already lost 2 games in conference. And if you lose those games, you're probably not good enough to win the rest of the way. And you look at the rest of their schedule. And BYU has a very difficult schedule the rest of the way. And a lot of these other teams don't.
But did you notice the word you used there? Probably.
I'm not going to say it's a must-win.
Of course.
But BYU needs to win this game if they want to. Did I say must win?
If they want to win the Big 12, they need to win this game if they want to win the Big 12.
That's 100% true.
They don't need to. They can lose.
Sure.
That's technically true. You're the writer.
I write things that are technically untrue all the time. Go back and read my work. It's all speculation. If you want me to just say, here's the final score, here's the box score, that's boring. That's not what anyone wants to hear. No. Talk about it. Editorialize. That's what we're doing. If BYU wants to win the Big 12, they cannot really afford to lose a game to Iowa State in the middle of the season with the schedule they have left. That's context clues. That's critical thinking. That's how BYU's got to look at it. That's how they have to approach this game.
Now, what you said there is not really afford. That's more accurate. Yeah, that communicates more of what you're getting at. True. That I'm agreeing.
Jake thinks BYU needs to lose this game to win the Big 12.
They can't really afford.
They've got to drop this game if they want to win the Big 12. I'm not going to say it's a must-win, but BYU needs to win this game.
Needs to win this game.
There's a difference between must-win and needs to win.
No, there is not.
There is a huge difference between a must-win and they need to win.
Why are you getting so defensive when I agreed with you? They can't really afford to lose this game if they want to win the Big 12. Okay.
Because you hate the term must-win. Because you're right. You say, what is must-win? Correct. They don't take the players into a back room and never let them out again if they lose this game. There's no must-win for BYU. BYU doesn't have to win the Big 12. There's no must for anything. It's just athletics. It doesn't really matter all that much.
You said they need to win this game if they want to win the Big 12.
A realistic chance to win the Big 12.
No, don't stop the qualifier. That sentence was incorrect. That's all I'm saying. If you want to add the qualifier, sure, Ben. I'll come along with it. It would really help BYU's chances. How about that for a qualifier if they were to win at Iowa State? True.
Hot take, red hot take. The more games BYU wins, the more likely they are to win the Big 12. Stop the show. End the show. We've done the greatest segment of sports radio anyone's ever heard.
I am not.
Unreal.
I am not talking about.
BYU, when they win, it's better for them. Wow.
Okay, I am not talking about hot takes. And that sentence that you uttered right there was technically true. The sentence you uttered before is not.
I think it is. You can think it's not. I think it is. If BYU wants to win the Big 12, they have to win this weekend. Because they're not going to win out. And if they lose this game and they don't win out, you have 2 losses, and a 2-loss team is not going to the Big 12 title game.
Ben, I understand the point you've been making
That's
repeatedly.
That's what I'm saying.
When you took the those tests in elementary school, I don't know. I think they technically called them the SAT at the time, but it was not the SAT you normally think of. But it had a section that was labeled reading comprehension.
Uh-huh.
How'd that go for you?
Probably poor.
It's an important game, Ben. That's all.
I don't feel comfortable saying that.
It's important.
I don't think it is. You can lose this game and it won't matter. It won't impact the rest of the season.
Bringing it home, I think, because I can't pick the game that I don't think the local teams are going to win. I think Utah State's going to beat
New
Mexico. I think BYU is going to beat Iowa State.
Okay.
And I think Utah's going to beat Colorado. So what's the most likely? Is 2-1. I mean, the likelihood is one of those teams loses. I don't know which one, so I'm going to go with 3-0.
3-0.
I think the local teams go 3-0.
I'd love to see it.
Which one loses? You picking against the Aggies?
Yeah, probably would be my most likely to lose. I would probably rank them Aggies, BYU, Utah is most likely to lose.
You don't think Dion has it against a Frosh quarterback?
We don't know if it's going to be a freshman. We don't know who's going to start a quarterback for Utah. It might be the best case scenario for them because the best case scenario is Devin Dampier's fully healthy and he's ready to go. And, his ankle is not taped up, but we saw his ankle taped up at the end of the BYU game, so there is an issue there.
Wait, real quick. You think there is a chance that Dampier plays? And by the way, I don't have any inside information, but I'd say the chance of that is basically none.
Just because listed as questionable.
Jake,
do you know how reading works? Do you go back and explain the word questionable to me?
You don't.
How does that work?
One, you don't believe Witt's injury reports either, so don't give me that.
No, I don't.
Two, he wouldn't have talked about it on Monday if there was a chance that he was going to play. I think because he never talks about injuries. Why is he talking about this?
I don't know. Cam Rising had a torn up knee and went and played against Arizona State last year. I don't know if there's any really rhyme or reason to who plays.
All right. Stay tuned. We've got top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next is the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Hanson Scotty coming up today at RGS Exteriors from noon to 3, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. All right, it is time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, we've got some more Jazz basketball tonight. Time to see if Game 1 was a fluke.
No Sabonis and no Keegan Murray for the Kings.
What a great start for the Sacramento Kings. This is a very winnable game if that's the case. Sabonis is an all-star and, probably a Lowry, Markkanen level player, maybe a little bit better. He's a little more complete. But, yeah, if the Jazz play, they don't have to play as well as they did against the Clippers. They were 16 of 20 shooting in the first quarter. That's unsustainable. But you play with the effort you played against the Clippers, and they should beat the Kings.
So glad we don't have to hear the Keegan Murray.
Yeah. They paid him a lot this summer.
They did.
$28 million a year. He's a good player. I don't know if his best game he's ever played was against the Jazz, which I think might make some fans a little bit jaded about what level of player is, but he's like 13 points a game. He's not crazy high-level player. Again, to your point, where it's like, my new question I have for just about every player I run into in the NBA or see in the NBA is like, is that guy better than Bryce Sensabaugh? I don't know if he is. Like Shaedon Sharp with the Portland Trail Blazers gets a lot of love. He's super athletic, kind of exciting. They don't have Anthony Simons anymore. It's like, I don't know if that guy's better than Bryce Sensabaugh. I mean, Bryce is just a really good player. So those are the types of things I'm watching, the storylines early. Can Keontae George continue to sustain the high focus and energy level he had in Game 1 and at times in the preseason? Does Lowry look like Eurobasket Lowry? How does Walker Kessler continue to look against, some of these other certainly less good teams, but the Clippers shouldn't be all that less good that the Jazz played on Wednesday night. So there's plenty of storylines to track here early.
You know what I see when I look at the Kings? I honestly don't think it is the worst roster I've ever seen. I mean, their point guard position is rough with Dennis Schroeder and Rusty Westbrook, but DeMar DeRozan can still get you a bucket. Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, I like, I guess, how he guards, and DeMontis Sabonis or whatever. But isn't this team an example of where you don't want to be in the NBA? High-priced, going nowhere. You know what I mean? For all the, like the people who are tired of the tanking or, the whatever, you just don't want that. You don't want a roster like that that's going nowhere, that's costing you a ton of money, that has no promise and no hope. You'd rather be young and scrappy and hungry, to quote the play.
Their 3 highest paid players are Zach LaVine, who is 30, which is not ancient, but he's a guy whose entire career is kind of based on his athleticism. He's a good shot maker, but his athleticism will not stick with him forever. He's also very injury prone. He makes $48 million a year. Again, 30 years old. Domantas Sabonis is good, $43 million a year. Nothing to complain about there. DeMar DeRozan is 36 years old, and he takes a big hit. He's only at $25 million, but again, you're just kind of at it's weirdly, it's not the most expensive roster, but
it's more expensive than it should be.
And they're just not going anywhere. Keegan Murray, again's only at $11 million right now. That actually jumps up to $28 million next year. Dennis Schroeder's a good player. He's a really good player. But
is he?
Yeah.
Is he better than Bryce Sensabaugh?
He's definitely better than Keontae. So we'll see. We'll see. He's a guy who can win you a game. Dennis Schroeder can beat the Jazz tonight by himself.
Yeah, but I'm so off these little guards that love to shoot. What's it getting anybody?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't win anything at the highest level other than he did just win, I think, MVP at Eurobasket. But no, he's not a guy you build around by any means. But there's really probably not anybody on this Kings roster that you quote unquote build around. I don't think Sabonis is a guy you necessarily build around, because as good as he is and all the fun things that he does, he's flawed enough defensively that it's like you have to have so many different things on the court to maximize his lack of defense, and the fact that he still doesn't shoot threes is a weird player. But this should be a fun game tonight.
They're paying this roster $180 million this year.
It's tough.
Man, just be grateful you're not a Kings fan.
Could always be worse.
It's one of those. It's the Jets, it's the Kings, it's the Mariners. Just be grateful you're not a fan of any of those.
Yep. Mariners almost, but Kings almost. Kings had that exact same situation in 2004, and then Donaghy killed him, or whoever it was, in that Lakers-Kings game, and they have not won a playoff series since.
Yikes.
They've made the playoffs, but they have not won a playoff series, I don't think, since that same year. So,
right.
Mariners, we'll see you in 2045, next time you win a playoff series.
What's next?
Number 2, holy moly, Logan Cooley.
Sergachev shoots, stick save, rebound, score! And there's the hat trick for Logan Cooley. 3 goals in 1 period. Unbelievable. It's a natural hat trick for one of Utah's youngest stars.
My first thought was, man, how is Ryan Smith going to pay Logan Cooley and Walker Kessler this summer? Those guys are going to get a lot of money with how they're playing early in the season. But Logan Cooley, who had been pretty clunky to start the year, really bad on the face-off, is not scoring a whole lot. Some of his goals, like one of them hit him in the back and went in. He technically got a goal for it, but just absolutely came out of his shell last night. 3 goals in 11 minutes, 3:45 total ice time. 6 seconds in the ozone. He scored 3 goals.
Is that good, Ben?
Pretty awesome.
Oh, okay.
Pretty amazing. Also funny that we only saw 1 hat trick last year. Our guy, Barrett Hayton, right? Scored the only hat trick last year. We've now seen 2 in the last 3 games with Schmaltzy and Cooley. But yeah, 3 goals in the first period. The Mammoths were up 4-0. You thought they were going to coast. They don't really do anything easy. It does really seem like they like to make every game interesting. But even then, they won this 7-4. Blues got it down to 1 at one point, but Keller scored really quickly to push it back up to 2 goals, and it was dicey. But you got to win some games 7-4, and they found a way to do it.
And it was on the road.
On the road, they've won 5 in a row. They're tied for the most wins in the NHL, hottest team in the Western Conference.
Because they just weren't quite scoring goals on the road at the very beginning of the season, right? Or
right.
They were, but it was not coming in an onslaught like it did last night.
Sometimes you got to score. Yeah, that's the chase. You just got to be able to win a lot of ways. You got to be able to win 2-1, and you got to be able to win 7-4. And this is not something they did last year, and I'm happy for Coach Bear. I'm happy for Andre Teranique, because some of the hate towards the team, or I don't want to say hate, that's probably too strong a word.
Who's hating on the Mammoth, and how have we not played that drop yet?
Family man back here has got bigger worries all of a sudden. The complaints about the team were directed, seemingly, that I saw online, at Coach Bear, because the offense wasn't clicking despite the amount of offensive talent they have. And a lot of it was just Dylan Gunther was carrying so much weight early, but now Keller's gotten going, Schmaltzy's gotten going, Cooley's obviously gotten going, Peterka's looking better, and it's really clicking now.
I didn't realize there were already Mammoth haters this
People hate everything
in the season. Well, they can direct their hate to will.trubshaw at utahmammoth.com.
Shout out, Will.
Can't believe that. I mean, they're the hottest team in the league. 5 in a row.
They're super young.
They haven't lost since they unveiled Tusky.
Yeah. 5-0 in the Tusky era.
Svelte Tusky.
Yeah. Tight Tusky.
That's what he sounds like.
That should be the goal siren. Should be the
I
goal
agree.
horn.
I agree. All right, what's next?
Number 3, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier are saying they will fight the charges.
Listen, watching Chauncey Billups walk out of a a police station is. A head coach in the NBA is not something I had on my bingo card.
Yeah, we've seen Mike Malone get a DUI. We've seen some guys pick up. Maybe it wasn't Mike Malone. Maybe it was. Who's the guy who's? Is he the Arkansas head coach? No, Arkansas is what's his name? Is Calipari.
Yeah, careful who you slander here.
He was at Nevada. He's the guy who liked to rip his shirt off.
Oh, the Muscle Man?
Yeah, didn't Muscleman get a DUI? Maybe it was Michael Malone. A former Kings coach, I remember, got a DUI. Both those guys were former Kings coaches. Does he see coaches get arrested occasionally for
but not like this.
Not like this. Don't say it. Don't touch
like
that
that
button.
Like that?
Yeah, this is super unique, and Chauncey's not, name any random NBA head coach that comes and goes. Like, Chauncey's in the Hall of Fame. Chauncey's been around the NBA for 30 years now. Chauncey, we had Jake Shapiro on yesterday from Denver. Like, yeah, he was a legend at Colorado. He was a number 3 overall pick. This is kind of a huge player in the annals of NBA history, certainly over the last 25 years.
I went down the rabbit hole on this yesterday because this is a story right out of the movies. I mean, it really is. It's pretty wild. But there was a poker player, like a pro poker player from 2 or 3 years ago, that said that Chauncey was playing a rigged game. That said it was out there on the Snap Talk, the InstaFace, whatever it was. He put it out there several years ago. He's like, people tell me that this game isn't rigged, but then I look at the people that are putting it on and I say, yeah, this game is rigged.
Yeah.
I know the people putting it on. And so anyway, I guess this was out there in the sphere, the behind the scenes gambling world that Chauncey was playing in rigged games. Crazy.
And maybe it's just because we're in Utah and it doesn't feel like it has such a strong foothold, or maybe it does. I honestly just did not realize the mafia just still had its grips in such deep places. Like, you're reaching into NBA coaches allegedly. That's insane.
Yeah, see, they wanted you to believe Rudy Giuliani took it all down. That's how they continue to operate.
Yeah, we're gone. We disappeared.
I tell you what, I want to get my hands on the automatic shuffler thing that they had.
Okay, so you can beat your daughter at Go Fish?
Oh, it'd be a massacre.
Sorry, 4-year-old.
Look who got them all. Dad.
Oh, you got the old maid,
yeah.
Did you?
You don't say. I'm so surprised.
I saw a video of how the glasses and contacts work that can read the marked cards. Crazy.
It's insane. It's just, it's so foolish. It's such a foolish thing to get involved in. It's such a stupid thing for these guys that are just making truckloads of money. Chauncey had money, makes a ton of money. Terry Rozier has the perfect job. No one expects him to be good at basketball. He's not good at basketball anymore. He's got $100 million to his name, or should have, and just couldn't keep his hand out of the cookie jar. It is a black eye for the NBA. They're going to face a ton of scrutiny. It's too bad because these first 3 games of the season have been, or these first 3 days of the season have been unreal. Thunder have gone to back-to-back double overtime games. You've had multiple 50-point performances already. Wemby's ready to break out and become, one of the biggest stars in all of sports. And Portland Trailblazers head coach and Terry Rozier are stealing the attention right now.
As far as poker goes, Ben, I know, well, you hate Vegas. Christian, you go to Vegas. When you choose to gamble, and I know you're not a big gambler, but have you ever gone into the poker room? Do you ever go in there?
Yeah.
Do you really?
A couple times.
See, I never do. Because playing against the house like a blackjack or one of those other games, I know the rules the house has to operate under. It doesn't matter who the dealer is. It's the game, right? You go into a poker room, I don't know who these other people are. You know what I mean? Not that they're looking to rip me off, but it might be some guy on the poker channel. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, of course.
I'm just an amateur. I'm the one going to be donating my money to all these people. No, thanks. I'll play against the house.
I think I'm too afraid to talk to the dealer. Too afraid to be I don't know exactly the rules. I did something wrong. I touched a chip.
Yeah.
I was supposed to touch a chip. I touched the chips.
Am I wrong to be intimidated by that, Christian? Or is it just a bunch of bozos sitting around a table?
No, it is scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's by design. They want you to feel nervous because you're going to make stupid decisions with your money.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Chauncey Billups invites you to play in a game, just say no thanks. I'm good. Like to our guy Jake Shapiro, who knows him apparently. Don't just be like, Chauncey, no, I'm cool. We can go get a coffee or something.
Yep.
All right, stay tuned. My favorite story of the day is coming up next. Steve Bartle will join us at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, and then we'll finish our NBA predictions at 11:30. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head to New Mexico for a battle against the Lobos. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Let's lock in.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You can win big every week on the station with Win Ticket Wednesday. Coming up next week, you can win tickets to go see Brian Regan live at Delta Center on Valentine's Day 2026. Get tickets at SeatGeek or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day on Wednesday for your chance to win. All right, Ben, this is my favorite story of the day. And this clip surfaced yesterday in the NBA podcasting world. But I've been telling you for years that Adele is not only the major influence in the NBA, but she's actually a negative one.
Okay.
And I've been scoffed at. I've even based takes around how the Jazz should get Colin Sexton off their team as soon as possible because he's an agent of Klutch.
Klutch is run by Rich Paul. Rich Paul is a power broker in the NBA. Rich Paul is engaged to Adele or is dating Adele, whatever.
I think they're engaged.
Whatever
Those
they
two
are.
crazy kids.
They are intermingling.
But I'm assuming Adele's running the show.
So,
now,
yeah.
some people might argue LeBron. Some people might argue Rich Paul. But my argument is Adele. Anyway, Adele has her tentacles into everything from what goes on in the front office to media plants. That hot take hippie on Fox Sports is one of them.
Nick
Wright. Of course, Windbag, which we've talked about often. Interestingly enough, Woj was not a LeBron guy, but you know who is?
Shams?
Old Shams.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. They're the evil empire, and nobody really talks about it or knows it. And it's all run by not Adele, but by LeBron, who has quite thin skin. I bring you Jeff Teague, Ben, who had this quote that surfaced yesterday. All right. Of course, Jeff Teague, former point guard. Who did he play for? Who was most notably? The T-Wolves?
Timberwolves, Atlanta. Probably, I think he made an all-star team with Atlanta.
Yeah. All right. So here's Jeff Teague.
Bro, the moment I said anything, anytime you say anything about Brian, people call you and say, hey, man, you might want to chill. I know you got some funny stories and shit. Hey, leave LeBron alone. I came on here and apologized. I'm sorry. I'm talking these some real people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you're funny. You get a little too funny. All right, my fault, brother. So I know ain't nothing getting by. They whole camp. They run the league. They whole camp run the league.
Yeah, bro. They too plugged in. For somebody not to know an inkling to something, I ain't say they do an all-out play. I just feel like somebody, bro. If not, then that's one of the most...
Rich Paul, AD agent.
Yeah. That's one of the most covert operations in NBA history.
You gotta know.
Somebody knew something. I don't know who, what, but somebody knew something. Even if they didn't know it was going to happen, when, what, where, why, somebody knew something, bro.
First of all, Jeff Teague is the funniest person on the planet. He has a viral clip basically every week from his podcast that is funny. I have told you, I have talked to people players who have played with LeBron, who have played against LeBron. You ask about LeBron, and there is a different feeling about him. And one of it's because he's one of the greatest players of all time. And the other is because, yes, he has a level of power around the league that nobody else has. There is almost a hush comes over when you ask about LeBron.
Well, yeah, because if you say anything, you're going to get Adele on the other line threatening you. You heard Jeff Teague right there. It's like I made a joke about LeBron once, and next thing I know, my phone's ringing and Adele's talking about breaking my legs. Better take that back.
I do believe that. And it's why I've also said I suspect there is a group of people that are really excited for LeBron to retire. And the group of people is every executive in the NBA. It's like, great. All right,
even
Rich,
the players, obviously.
Joe Pesci and Goodfellas walking into the room thinking he's about to be a made man the next time Rich Paul gets invited anywhere after LeBron retires. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to show you the red carpet once again. He's going to walk in. There's not going to be anyone in the room with him.
In all honesty, Ben Simmons missing, if you're rooting against Klutch, that was absolutely the best thing that could have happened because he was their next generation. He was going to be their next leverage piece after LeBron was done. And he flamed out, and now they don't really have their next generation young star, which is interesting. So maybe the fact that Jeff Teague is saying that probably means that their influence is waning a little bit. But I thought that was hilarious. And then he's like, they're running everything. And what did he say? They've overstepped?
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody needs to do something about it.
They were also talking about the Anthony Davis trade.
Yes.
Saying that there's no way that they didn't know about that.
See, I think there is a way they didn't know about that because I think they cut them out of that on purpose because they would have stopped it. Because Anthony Davis is a Klutch guy, and they're not going to let that happen. Let Anthony Davis go to Dallas when he's right there in L.A.?
It is interesting. I'm trying to look at their young guys. These are the guys with the least amount of service, meaning in the NBA, that they are representing right now. It's not... Yeah, they don't have the next guy. You're right. By missing on Ben Simmons, I'm not sure they have the next obvious superstar. We talked about how we weren't sure where Ace Bailey was going to sign. I think he's still unrepresented right now. We'll see if he ends up with Klutch. But Ace is not going to be LeBron. You know, he's not the next face of the NBA. I don't think they have Shea. They definitely don't have Wemby. It's like they don't have Nurkic or Jokic. Yeah, we'll see if they can get Wemby. But yeah, they may not have the next face of the league to help control everything. And that having that person is probably the most important piece.
Guaranteed Jeff Teague's phone rang yesterday. And he said hello. And on the other end,
hello.
Don't come to L.A.
We don't talk about LeBron.
But there's a horse head in his bed.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody check on Jeff Teague. Seriously, somebody check on... I hope he's okay. Hope he's okay. Anyway, I thought those comments were just amazing.
Well, Jeff's funny. I could listen to Jeff talk every day.
All right, stay tuned. Coming up next.
His story about checking Ricky Rubio into the bench is extraordinarily funny. I mean, it's not funny because actually it ends with a horrible thing that apparently a fan yelled to him that obviously was not what represents our state of Utah, hopefully. But the rest of it's very funny.
Stay tuned. Steve Bartle coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.